Alright guys, so I'm going to kind of catch you up on a slow moving project that I've been working on. But really, I love my Samurai. I've had a Samurai since probably, I don't know, before I could drive, because I took my driver's test and one just like this. Um, but one thing that's always bothered me that I hadn't really cared for was the carburetor. And I really wanted to switch it over to EFI. And here lately, I don't know about you guys, but I've seen all the videos of the guys in Puerto Rico and other places, with turbos on them or like K24 swaps. But I didn't want to get too crazy with it. I didn't want to do like a 4.3 or a K24. Like I just wanted to kind of keep it really stock looking, but make it a little bit better. And I know I could probably go to like a 1.6 or swap the Aereo swap, but I really just want to stick to the 1.3 and just improve upon it. So what I decided to do, like after watching all those guys in Puerto Rico running all the Honda stuff, I decided to kind of go that route, but refine it a little bit and make it a little bit more me and a little bit more modern. And so I'm going to take you guys through what I've gotten done so far, and it's really not a lot, but it's the intake side of things. So really, those guys in Puerto Rico were adapting Honda Civic intakes from like the mid to late 90s. And so I went to pull apart, grabbed one of those, went and ordered a couple gaskets here. So I've got the Samurai OEM intake gasket, the Civic intake gasket, and what I did was scan both of these in and then worked them in CAD to build an adapter, because you can see the ports line up pretty well. Just different sizes, right? And so in CAD, put them in there, modeled everything, and then had an adapter machined, which is here. So machined this adapter to bolt up to the Samurai head and then be able to adapt the Civic intake onto it. This is my little water port. I still got a lot of welding practice to do. I suck. But for the most part, it goes right on. Gaskets match up. I had to drill out the intake, the Civic intake, one of the holes a little bit. So one of my holes is a little off, but I'll fix that. This is just the prototype version. But it just allows me to bolt that Civic intake right up, because now I'm starting to work on the wiring and the ECM side of things. So let me show you guys how this fits up and then go from there. Alright, so show you guys how this fits up. I'm not going to put all these in here just because I'm just mocking it up so that way I can figure out my wiring these days. I essentially have reused all the Suzuki mounting points with countersunk hardware so it sits nice and flush. Get a few of these in. What's funny is the studs that I use match the Suzuki ones, so you can reuse some of the hardware that you pulled off the engine. But essentially, that's how the intake manifold sits. We're going to have our water outlet here. I'm working on kind of an inline adapter for these. Nobody really makes one that goes this small. So just working on the inline thermostat adapter here, where I can plug in the thermostat, and then I can use the stock Suzuki temp gauge and use that sender, as well as be able to put another sender in there for the Honda, so that way it'll feed back to the computer. And then for funsies, since we got to block off the fuel pump back here, I took the fuel pump gasket, kind of did the same thing I did for these, and then made a block off plate there. I just sent that one to Sin and got it cut out of 1/4" stainless, and then laser etched my sweet little Samurai logo onto it there. But essentially, we got our intake, we got our fuel pump block off, and then this hose, I'm trying to keep AC on this thing, so this thing's gonna just be in the way. But we can put the intake on. I'll throw a couple nuts on the studs here, so that way it'll hold it for me. And you can see it almost looks like it could have come that way. And it looks really similar to the later model ones that were EFI. But yeah, so that really bolts on nicely there. So now I can start working on laying out my injector wiring harness. I'm going to try to put some LS coil packs up here just because I've got some of those on the shelf left over from another project. And then I've got to work on a crank trigger, the cam trigger, and then really trying to learn Speeduino and build a nice little micro-sized controller for it. So, but yeah, this is where I'm at so far. So just keep checking back. I'll keep posting updates every week, every couple weeks as I get them in, and hopefully we'll get this thing running before too long. See how much better it runs. See how much fun it is. All right, thanks for watching.